Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Now, during my extraterrestrial visitors video that I did back in March, I mentioned a movie called The Galaxy Invader. Now, The Galaxy Invader was made by a man named Don Dohler, and over the course of approximately 10 years, Don made a movie about an alien crash landing onto Earth and then going around killing people 3 separate times. The Alien Factor in 1978, Night Beast in 1982, and The Galaxy Invader in 1985. And these movies were very similar in a lot of ways, not just in terms of premise, but they also featured a lot of the same actors playing the same characters. In terms of when the movie was actually shot, there's a piece of trivia on IMDb that claims the movie was shot in 1972, but was shelved for 6 years because Don couldn't find distribution. However, I found an old article from Cinefantastique magazine that says that the movie started shooting in 1976. The movie starts with this couple, Rex and Mary Jane, who are parked in an open field. Why? So that they can drink and make out. But then someone shows up in what looks like a really dirty raincoat and tries to pull Rex out of the car. Now you might be tempted to call that person a monster. Well, I think that's pretty judgmental, honestly. None of us know what's really going on here. Sure, it may seem as if these two people are the victims of some sort of random attack, but what if it's all just a big misunderstanding? What if the person in the rain suit thought that Mary Jane was trying to smother him to death and he was just attempting to pull Rex to safety, or pull him out of the car so that he won't be able to operate this vehicle under the influence of alcohol, which is illegal, by the way, and I'm pretty sure trespassing on private property is illegal as well. So, if anything, Rex and Mary Jane, they're the real monsters here. Yeah, awful, awful people. So, what did we learn today? That's right, next time, don't be so judgmental. Seriously though, that thing was an alien and it did end up murdering Rex, so whatever. Anyways, Mary Jane runs away and the cops pick her up, and then the doctors take her in, and then the mayor shows up.
How's Mary Jane?
She's in shock, but she'll be okay.
She say anything about what happened?
Shock, Burt. She didn't say anything.
Yeah, Burt. Idiot. And to think the people of this town elected you. Going around bothering everybody, asking questions, trying to figure out what's going on. Looking out for the safety of the people of the town. Don't you have better things to do? I do. So then these 3 random guys show up and Jack the sheriff is like, hey, you guys gotta get out of here. You can't just go walking up driveways. This is private property. We just had someone killed over that. And they're like, yeah, but we heard about what happened to Rex over the police scanner and we have nothing else to do. So can we help you try and find the wild animal that killed him? And the sheriff is like, no. You guys don't look nearly cool enough to hang out with me. I mean, get real. Have you seen my hat? Just look at this. None of you even have a hat, much less one that's as nearly as cool as mine. It can't be seen with you basic bitches. The movie shoots day for night here, and it's not horrible. I mean, I've seen a lot worse, but I can't blame them for doing it because, as I've mentioned recently, shooting at night on a low budget in the woods can be very challenging. But what's funny about this scene is here we have this couple who came out here for a very specific reason.
Listen, why don't you look at me instead of the fish?
Hell no. I said no.
Yeah, Bill, what the hell do you think you're doing? She wanted to come all the way out here at night to look at the fish. Pretty typical late night activity. Is it easy? No, it actually gets harder the darker it gets, but that's the point. It's fun because it's so challenging and kind of stupid. Anyways, she goes wandering off, probably to find more fish, but instead she finds something very disturbing. And look, I'm sorry to say it, but that's kind of the risk you take when you go walking around the woods. You might see some stuff that you don't want to see, like a dead animal, or a bare-chested man, or a mutated humanoid. Pretty sure that was the plot of Stand By Me. Plus, it's not that bad. He is wearing jeans. So, He's trying to fit in with us a bit. I'm just saying, would you rather have the alien be fully naked or show that it's trying to be somewhat fashionable? So there's this reporter who keeps calling the coroner and her nephew Steve, who are doing the autopsy on Rex's body, and she's like, come on, give me the scoop. What's the cause of death? And they're like, stop calling. We know you're super horned up to know the gory details, but we haven't finished the autopsy yet. Give us a break. We're not even working in a real morgue over here. It's just a room with some sheets hung up and not really any tools either. We don't even have gloves. It's pretty gross. Meanwhile, the three bored guys are sitting around and one of them is like, hey, we don't need the sheriff's permission to go out there and hunt this thing down.
Come on, let's do it.
I'll give Susan a call.
Susan? What do we want to take her for? Yeah, that's stupid.
No, it's not stupid.
If anything here is stupid, it's you. Susan totally likes me. Alright, I know she said that she never wants to see me again, but that's just because she doesn't know that she likes me yet. You know, once she sees me with my gun doing manly stuff, she'll think that's totally awesome. Really cool. Right? Why do you guys always look away like that? So they all go out to the woods and start wandering around aimlessly, which always works out great. Somehow they walk right by the alien. I mean, it's standing right there. And of course, this just turns into a shit show. I always find this stuff funny in movies. When the character is a good distance away from the monster, but somehow can't get away as the monster closes the gap, walking as slowly as possible. Of course, the alien ends up killing him, which sucks because there's just no way Susan is going to think he's cool now. So the sheriff is like, God damn it, I hate my job. Now I have to investigate these deaths too? Why is everybody in this town so stupid? I don't want to do this much work. I barely have enough time to relax and go look at the fish in the middle of the night. So the mayor is like, what the hell is going on, Jack? This is going to make the town look really bad. You know, all these people dying, and they're building a $30 million amusement park just outside of town. People aren't going to want to go to an amusement park that's near a town where people have died before. So the mayor is like, that amusement park is going to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So you got to put a stop to these killings. Because that's what this is really about, money. So the sheriff is like, ugh, fine. I guess I'll get started trying to solve the mysterious killings. Suddenly we're in a bar, and what happens in this scene? Absolutely nothing. A guy drinks a beer, and then the band starts up, and we have to sit through a musical performance. And you all know how I feel about those. At least I don't really mind the song this time. Still, I don't see what the point of this scene is, except to pad the runtime. Anyways, the guy goes home, can't really see anything, but I guess something is approaching the house. Suddenly, the guy hears a noise, which is always terrifying, especially when you live alone. Honestly, every time I hear a noise late at night, I am absolutely terrified of not only being murdered, but being murdered and then my family and friends seeing how messy my place is on a regular basis. I mean, it's not out of control, but, you know, you clean up when you know people are coming over. But day to day, your house isn't spotless. Like, I don't know, maybe they have to come over to identify the body, and they're like, oh my god, Mark had dishes out? I imagine the murderers weren't very impressed. Anyways, he goes downstairs, and after taking his time to turn on the light, holy crap, the alien is actually down there. And I have to say, I actually think this is pretty awesome, because the way they drew this out, I kind of assumed that, you know, he was going to turn on the light and there's nothing down there. And then he goes all the way back upstairs and the alien is hiding in his bedroom. But no, they just hit you with it. Anyways, it tears him to pieces. Meanwhile, some guy named Benjamin Zachary shows up at the mayor's house and he's like, hey, can I talk to you? And the mayor is like, oh yeah, I'm the mayor. I guess that means I gotta talk to people. Okay, come in. Benjamin says that he works as an astronomer in an observatory from another county and that he thinks a meteor crashed somewhere on the north side of this town. So he'd like to go poking around up there. And the mayor is like, yeah, but see, the thing is, there's been a lot of killings up there by some kind of wild animal. And wait a minute. Well, maybe you could help with that because, you know, astronomer, law enforcement, wildlife control, it's all basically the same thing. Of course, the sheriff isn't too pleased to hear about this at all.
How the hell is he going to help, Burt? Now, that's all I need is another untrained person running around those woods. I don't care what he says, Burt. Do you know for a fact that this man is trained for this kind of thing?
See, I actually totally agree with the sheriff here. You gotta vet this guy. Trained meteorite chasers only. You can't have some amateur running around, you know, picking up rocks every 10 seconds. Oh, is this it? Well, what about this one? So Benjamin and the mayor go up to the snowy hills to look for the meteorite, which could be any size and anywhere. So should be easy to find, especially after a snowfall. Anyways, after a while, they find a spacecraft, and Benjamin starts hearing this noise, and it looks like he is just chubbing up big time listening to this. Suddenly, they see an alien lying on the ground, and hey, maybe the spaceship could be his. So the alien starts, I don't know, communicating with Benjamin telepathically, and this goes on for so long that the mayor is just kind of standing there awkwardly like, should I leave you two alone? Then Benjamin gets up and the mayor is like, what did I just watch? But Benjamin says there's no time to explain what just happened because the entire ship is going to explode. The two of them go back to the sheriff's office and Benjamin is like, okay everybody, here's the deal. That alien was transporting a bunch of other aliens as zoological specimens, and then the ship crashed here and the aliens got loose, and that's what's been killing people.
And that's it?
You really expect us to believe all that?
You know what, Jack? I'm starting to think that you're too skeptical to be a sheriff. I mean, part of being in law enforcement is the ability to tell if people are lying. And just look at this guy. That's probably the most honest face I've ever seen in my life. When some guy shows up from out of town, convinces the mayor to go on a hunt for a meteorite, then comes back and tells you that they found a spaceship and an alien who communicated with him and him only telepathically and told him that the ship was carrying a bunch of different aliens and those aliens have been going around killing everybody, but he can't show you any proof because just before the alien died, the alien warned him that the ship was going to explode, and it did, so everything got vaporized in a giant fireball. You believe him if he looks like that. So the mayor is like, Jack, you have to believe him. I saw it, and I'm a politician. We're not allowed to lie. The mayor suggests that they call in the army, but Benjamin is like, hang on a sec, I think I can take care of this myself. I've got a bunch of equipment with me, and I think I can get rid of these aliens with that equipment. And the mayor is like, okay, that sounds reasonable. I'm not even going to ask what kind of equipment you have, because even though I just met you today, I'm pretty sure I witnessed you having brain sex with an alien 20 minutes ago, so I'm just going to trust that you know what you're doing.
I think the mayor's making a terrible mistake.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sick of looking at dead bodies, I'm ready to leave town now.
Dude, isn't that your job? So Edie, the reporter, decides to take some gasoline and go out into the woods and try and kill the aliens herself, because that's a super smart idea based on the fact that so many people have been killed by these aliens already. But I bet they didn't think about using gasoline. That's it, that's the secret. This is when she runs into Steve, and what's he doing out here?
Same thing as you, I guess. I just can't sit still knowing those creatures are running around loose.
Hey, here's a crazy idea. Seeing that the two of you still currently have your lives, how about you continue living them and leave the killer aliens to the authorities, since you both clearly have no idea what you're doing. But then again, maybe I shouldn't judge. Maybe if they run into an alien, they'll know exactly what to do and put that gasoline to good use. Okay, so first of all, I don't think that throwing the can at it is going to do all that much. And secondly, did the can sound empty to you? At one point, Steve falls, and instead of just getting up, they just lie there, ready to accept their fate, but suddenly the alien is killed by who else? Benjamin Zachary. All he had to do was use a high-frequency speaker to play a high-pitched sound that broke the alien shell. Don't know how he managed to run power to that thing all the way out in the middle of nowhere though. Anyways, he uses a needle to extract the poison from the alien because, well, why not? Might come in handy, and I agree. If you have the chance to obtain some alien poison, I think you take it. I'm just saying, I would rather have a jar full of alien poison sitting in my garage than not have a jar of alien poison sitting in my garage. I mean, you never know. The other alien shows up in the mayor's backyard. It's amazing how this thing managed to go undetected considering how big it is. And this is exactly why you should always have a lock on your gate. Don't make it easy for things like this to get into your yard. Let it try and get into a neighbor's yard. Kill them instead. Anyways, they gotta try and kill this thing now, so they start shooting it, even though they know that bullets do nothing to these aliens. I guess no one has a long stick that they can try and tip it over with. So Benjamin uses his trusty needle gun to inject the alien with the poison from the other alien. Then they all crowd around it, and I'm telling you right now, there's no way I'd get even remotely close to this thing. Honestly, you don't know if that thing's really dead. What's the harm in at least running it over with the truck a few times and then bashing its head in with the shovel? I don't think that's going too far. Wouldn't you want to be sure? So it turns out the sheriff put in a call to the observatory asking about Benjamin Zachary, and they call him back claiming that they've never heard of a Benjamin Zachary. So he's like, oh my God, well, we gotta go find Benjamin Zachary right away, because I'm pretty sure impersonating an astronomer is a felony, maybe. I don't know, I'm not really that good at this job. Edie spots a car parked on the side of the road and starts wandering around the woods again because this worked out so well the last time. Eventually, she spots Benjamin, and it looks like he's kind of fighting some sort of half-invisible alien, and oh man, I bet he has some sort of clever plan to kill this thing. Nope, at one point it just kind of dies, and holy crap, it turns out that Benjamin Zachary is an alien himself. He's just been disguised as a human this whole time, which really isn't that surprising. I mean, Benjamin Zachary sounds pretty fake. It's probably why Jack was so suspicious from the start. When you're coming up with a fake name, try not to use two first names. It's like when Facebook first started, I knew so many people who didn't like their last name, so they changed their last name on their profile to their middle name, and it always sounded so fake. It's like Amy Heather and Michael Jonathan. I know there's people out there who legitimately have a name that sounds like two first names. Edie is horrified by his appearance when suddenly Jack shows up and blows him away. And Edie is like, no, Jack, that was Benjamin Zachary. He wasn't gonna hurt me. Well, great going, Jack. Looks like you managed to kill the one good alien. And the one alien that could be killed by bullets. The Alien Factor was written, directed, produced, and edited by Don Dohler, and it was released in 1978. It had a budget of $3,500, which would probably be around $20,000 in today's money. Now, it's a low-budget movie, so a lot of the effects are pretty crude, but I have to say, I think some of the stuff was done pretty well considering the budget. I like the compositing work that they did here with the spaceships. Again, not perfect, but it could have been a lot worse. The morgue or hospital or whatever this is supposed to be wasn't that convincing, but it's interesting how, if it's a quick scene, putting up a sheet is much better than nothing. It's one of the reasons why I like watching these old low-budget movies, because I'm interested to see what they did with the limited budget that they had. So I would actually recommend it for young filmmakers or anybody who's curious. Now, I think that this movie had kind of an interesting concept. I liked the idea of the different types of aliens, and I really liked the reveal at the end with Benjamin Zachary being an alien himself. Story-wise, I actually prefer it to the other two movies that I mentioned that Don made after this one. But you'll see that because I'm going to cover those two movies in my next video. I want to thank all of my supporters on Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, and my YouTube channel members. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. But that's pretty much it for this one, and I'll see you all next time. And then once we kill this animal, I'm going to take her out to the, something stupid, like the ballet. Well, what's that one called? The one with the swan? Swan pond? I don't know. The good thing is that this mistake isn't going to really screw up his career, because, I mean, this is pretty easy to cover up. He wasn't a real person. He didn't have a family or a job, so if anyone back in town wants to know what happened, you can just be like, yeah, it turns out he was an alien, and he tried to kill us, so we had to put him down. Yeah, he came right at us. Right, Edie? Bye.